Hello, everyone. What is going on? And my name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 50. What was it? 8 or 9, I think?
I was on the impression it was 53, but I think it's 59.
I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say, yeah,
I thought last week was 58. Did I say 3? I meant to say 8. Whoops.
Yeah, it's 58. We can count.
It's 58 this week or last week?
This is episode 58.
Okay.
As always, I'm Andrew, mostly known as Friedman, but mostly known as Friedman. I fucked up that intro.
That's fine.
And howdy, partner. My name's Tyler. Just Tyler.
You just reminded me of the day Red Dead came out, and one of the top posts on r/gaming was a guy who was this guy's really dedicated to Red Dead, and it was a guy in full cowboy outfit going in and buying 2 PS4 Red Dead packs.
It's great.
It was pretty hilarious.
Way, listeners, Red Dead. I'm riding the Red Dead dick right now. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god.
Red Dead Reddiction.
Red Dead Reddiction.
Wow, that's good.
Yes, full on. It's oh god. Let's just start before I go into a fucking tirade.
Is it good? Spoiler. I'm sure you're gonna say it's
spoiler. It's good.
Is it better than the first one so far?
Listen.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
When Leslie robbed that guy for 2 shotgun shells and a celery stick.
Oh my god.
I knew it was good, but it's like the small things though, right? Like I shot this dude. I lost my hat, right? So I saw this dude. I'm like, yo, I like this guy's hat. So I shot him and took his hat and I shot him in the head. And when the next cutscene happened, it zoomed in on my character, on Arthur, and it had the bullet hole where I shot him. I was like, dude.
I mean, the horse balls shrink in the cold. What else do you need to know about the game?
This game is next level. Like, this game goes beyond the nuts receding.
I gotta say, the only thing that sucks is that r/gaming always turns into this massive, massive train of fucking... Like, when Spider-Man came out was the last time where it's like, oh, don't spend a week on r/gaming looking for funny gaming stuff because it's just going to be Red Dead shit. Like, oh, this guy's riding his horse through town and an NPC throws a hay bale and he hits the guy and he just, like, spazzes the fuck out. Or the guy who tries to jump onto a train and, like, just glitches into the floor.
Honestly, every time an open world game's out, I just unsub for a week because it's just only posts from that game.
Yup.
Yeah, I feel like I wish I was recording because I definitely have some good moments. Like Leslie was struggling. Some of them are just from Leslie being funny.
But like all of your best gaming stories open with "So I'm shooting this guy."
So I'm shooting this guy.
Dude, lots of games have guns.
Yeah, like I think one of the best glitches. Well, they fixed this. I was actually impressed.
Aww.
So Leslie was working hard to like fucking kill, I think, a wolf or something like that. I forget what it was. But she was walking down the steep hill and she dropped the carcass and it fell through the level. After she almost died getting it.
10 out of 10, best open world game again.
But Rockstar was like, yo, we saw this in QA, so when you turn around, it spawns right behind you.
Oh, damn.
I was like, holy shit.
They knew.
This is some next level bug fixing. Or not even bug fixing, it's just a very good workaround.
To get to the actual first topic, which is another thing that came out last week, before we do get to, because we're already a few minutes in and it's just Red Dead.
Hell yeah.
So something that I wanted to talk about that came out last week, because obviously Red Dead did, but more importantly for me, because obviously I only play on PC and Red Dead isn't coming out until who knows if it's ever coming out on PC. Castlevania Season 2 of the anime that premiered last year on Netflix came out. Unfortunately, these two bozos haven't seen it yet. But man,
watch a spoopy show.
If you even sort of enjoyed the first season, the first 4, you'll really enjoy this. The action kicks it up. I'm not going to spoil when or what, but okay, do you guys know anything about Castlevania? Like, have you seen video of any of the games or like any reviews?
I mean, I've seen all the 2D side scrolls. I just don't know the plot of the game.
Symphony of the Night. Thank you very much.
That's fine, because all I know about Castlevania really is I'm pretty sure the Angry Video Game Nerd series retrospective he did years ago. That's about it. But even then, they have one very like semi-subtle callback to the entire game series in the music department at one point. And I, even as someone who casually knows it, recognized it and fucking loved it. So if you guys know anything, it was the
because the music was always great.
Yes,
in the games.
The action in this series has kicked it up even harder, and the story is pretty compelling. I actually had some tearjerkers near the end of the season. Shit. It really turns it around. It was actually really well done. Apparently season 3 is already confirmed. I forget the guy's name, but the guy who plays the Belmont. Trevor, yeah. He was the guy from Hobbit. What's the actor's name? I can't remember the actor's name, unfortunately, which is very embarrassing. He already said before this came out that he had started recording lines for season 3. So clearly this has been successful. And apparently as far as I saw, there was a lot of good buzz about this new season. So I give it a big thumbs up. I definitely recommend, and hopefully you guys get to see it so we can all talk about it with some spoilers.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
I just have one question about this show.
Sure.
Did they fix the terrible sound editing from season 1 where all the dialogue is super duper quiet, but literally every other sound in the show is at max volume?
No. That's me thinking. No.
Okay.
I promise that's not a response.
I was worried. I was like, oh shit.
I'll say that I didn't notice anything that stood out to me as a problem, but we also rewatched season 1 about a week before that, the previous Friday, and I didn't notice it super bad then either. So I don't know if it'll be. I honestly can't answer. I don't think it should be a problem, but I also don't know if I would have said it was a problem in season 1.
The trick is to watch it in a house of people who are sleeping.
Yeah, it's called headphones.
Fuck that. I'm not using headphones in my living room. That's just some like.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying on your computer.
My granddad does that shit.
No. Obviously not. No. I thought you were saying you watched it on your computer.
No. I'm trying to enjoy it on the big screen TV.
Me and Val watching it, I never reached for the remote. I'll say that.
All right.
We set it and blazed through the whole thing with pizza on Friday night, and it was really, really good. Now it immediately was when season 3. But yeah, so big thumbs up. Freeman, yeah, this is definitely a you thing.
Oh, you're handing it off to me. All right, let's talk about what Nintendo's up to this week. So there was news today that Nintendo is doing, I think it's 2 Nintendo Directs in the next 30 days or so. The first one is confirmed for Thursday at 10 in the morning. They announced a 40-minute Direct featuring just Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And everyone's very excited because there's been a ton of leaks lately about potential characters.
I did see that, yeah.
And as everyone knows with Smash Bros. Leaks, they're all fake, except for one of them, which is true. So the question is, which of them is true? Let's find out on Thursday. The disappointing thing is it's not during my teleworking day where I could reasonably watch it while being at work. So I have to either avoid all spoilers all afternoon or find some excuse to have it on a separate screen in the corner of my eye and just minimize it while I'm working. But that's happening. Very excited. Smash is really close. I think it comes out in December, the first half. So that's coming up real close.
Wait, first half
of December.
Did I say I wasn't buying it, Freeman?
What?
Did I tell you I didn't plan on buying it?
Yeah, we had a conversation about this, and I understand 100% why you said this. So,
wait, I didn't hear this. What?
So, no, Tyler and I had this conversation in person like a month ago.
I know. I'm saying I want to hear.
We were killing time, and I mentioned how excited I was for Smash Bros. And Tyler had this kind of look on his face and said, "I'm not really that excited about it." And we were talking about how, like, when we were kids, playing like couch co-op, playing with your friends, like that was all you did. People would come over, you played Smash. But now we're in the era where people don't do that, and if you play, you're going to play online. And let's be real here, Nintendo Online is a piece of shit. So if you're not going to play online, who are you going to play with? And that answer is no one, which it sounds like it is for Tyler and quite possibly me. it makes Smash Bros. A lot less appealing as a game.
Mm.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I own Smash Bros. Wii U. I unlocked all the characters, but I put nowhere near as much time into Smash Wii U as I did either Brawl or Melee. Just because at the time, that was what you did. You went over to someone's house, you played. Now it's like, I don't even know if I can get 4 people together to play Smash Bros.
Exactly.
The one thing I thought I had going for it, and this is, it kind of sucks you have to use the fucking Joy-Cons for this, is the Switch is mobile, and I have one friend at work who I used to play Smash on DS with him at lunch, and I'm 100% bringing my Switch to work so we can play Smash during lunch. And that's like the one thing it has going for it. If people are willing to deal with the shitty controllers, you can play 4-player Smash anywhere, which might be decent. It might be like that first trailer for Switch that came out where they had these guys playing basketball at like middle of the night in the park, and they just like pull off the side and start playing NBA on 2 Switches.
But
which
I mean, that shit's cool though.
Everyone saw it and said that's never going to happen, except I saw it and said that's going to happen with Smash.
Smash would be that kind of game.
It's probably the only game that I could see forces to happen. I've tried Mario Kart with people at work, but it's not enough.
It's not that, like, Mario Kart, as hype as it is, it ain't Smash hype.
It's not Smash.
Like, people will crowd around a table to watch you play Smash.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like,
at
easily.
At the company hackathon over the summer, they had one Wii U set up like 1 million games, and all it was Smash all night. To the point where they created a structured tournament at 3 a.m, so everyone was bored of coding. But it was like a real ladder with a losers bracket. Like, I couldn't believe how dedicated these randoms were playing Smash Bros. Like, everyone fucking loves this, and I'm hoping it carries through on Switch. But all right, so real quick, I'm gonna talk about Pokemon Let's Go. I'm gonna be real here.
Let's go away.
If anyone remembers last week, I was very excited about Pokemon Go,
and I'm laughing
because they announced Master Trainers, and I sat there and I got all caught up in the HD graphics, the Kanto remake, the everything I wanted out of a Pokemon remake, except to have this Pokemon Go shit in the middle. But I was ignoring that because I'm like, oh, look at all the good shiny bullshit in the game.
These are things you did on the podcast.
But then last week they confirmed something I never ever wanted to hear fucking ever. And the new Pokemon Meltan, who is probably the laziest designed Pokemon in the world, they took a Ditto, they colorized him gray, they put a fucking nut on top of his head, and they gave him a Pikachu tail made out of a wire. And everyone was disputing his design. I'm just gonna rip on Meltan for a little bit, real quick.
Oh yeah, that creepy thing.
And the idea is, it's like, okay, is he a screw Pokemon? They're like, no, you don't get it. He's a soldered Pokemon. His body is solder, and his tail is the wire. And I'm like, so what the fuck is the nut doing in the middle there? Because that has nothing to do with soldering.
He's trying to get his nut, dude.
But then they revealed his evolved form.
Bad joke.
In Melmetal. I'm not even gonna acknowledge your jokes. They reveal Melmetal, who's quite literally the laziest fucking design for a Pokemon. All they did is they took Registeel and they threw fucking bolts all over him. And, that would have been fine. There have been lazy design Pokemon. I defend some of the laziest design Pokemon. I think Voltorb is the greatest design of all Pokemon. But once they revealed how you catch Meltan, which is Pokemon, Go exclusive, not Let's Go, Pokemon Go, the fucking shitty mobile game I don't want to play anymore. Just losing that. But you also cannot evolve Meltan in any game but Pokemon Go. And the only way to do it is to catch 400 other Meltan, turn them into candies, and then level up your main one so it evolves into Melmetal. And I sat there. Oh, go ahead.
I only know this because I just opened Bulbapedia to look at this shitty Pokemon.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at this too right now. This looks like garbage.
And I said to myself, like, I don't want to fucking play Pokemon Go to enjoy this game. And then I sat there and I'm like, what did I just say to myself? I don't want to play Pokemon Go to enjoy a Pokemon game. And that was when I realized I've been fucking, what's the term? Honeypotted?
Honey-dicked?
Oh.
Honey-dicked, there you go. I have been honey-dicked by Game Freak into thinking that Pokemon Let's Go wouldn't just be a Pokemon Go selling game that has like some of the like 1% of shit that I actually want in a Pokemon game. And I realized I was fucking honey-dicked. And that's when I canceled any thought I had of actually buying this game. Fuck it, I'm not supporting this shit. I am not playing Pokemon Go just to catch them all. Game Freak, you fucked up.
Yeah, Game Freak. You got greedy.
I've seen the light. And it's not Pokemon Let's Go and not buy this game, actually.
Let's go and not buy this game.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now. Let's see if this changes again next week.
So we are really back to let's go away.
Yeah, let's go. Not buy this game. Actually, was the headliner I put in the notes, and that's how I feel right now. So to make up for that, I'm just replaying Alpha Sapphire, and it's scratching that Pokemon itch. Pretty good.
I want to throw in before the next story. I just was scrolling through my Google News feed, and it said Red Dead Redemption 2 has largest opening weekend of any media.
Jesus.
Fucking Rockstar.
I mean,
dude, when they put out a game,
GTA has been like that.
Yeah, when they put out a game, what I've noticed, like, with Rockstar games as of recently, especially with how they made GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, and whatever. It's almost like you're not even buying a game. It's like you're buying an experience, as weirdly grand as that sounds.
No, I believe you.
They even advertise it as such. It's like it's not even a game. It's like, oh, Rockstar presents at this game.
You're not there for the game. You're there for the Rockstar presentation.
Yes.
I believe it. Look, we've talked before how I've never been a GTA guy or really a Rockstar guy. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think you would like Red Dead Redemption though, Tim. Wait, at least you like westerns, right?
Hell yeah.
You're gonna like RDR.
I love westerns. Also, we talked about liking westerns, right?
Yeah, you guys talked about a bunch of movies I haven't seen. You both really like that.
Didn't we talk about True Grit and stuff?
Yes,
Speaking of movies, Tyler, you were watching a banger yesterday.
I was watching a banger, and I didn't realize it.
Holy shit! Have you never seen that before?
I never saw it before. I didn't.
Tyler posted on Facebook yesterday that he was watching Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Shut Up and Love the Bomb. It's a fucking good movie.
It's a good movie. So, I know we're going off topic for a little bit.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
It's a good movie though, but my coworkers were talking about it for some reason, and my one coworker who I loaned God of War to loaned this movie to one of our supervisors, and he's like, "Oh, you've never seen this?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Who? What kind of movie is it?" He told me what it was about. He's like, "Yo, Kubrick wrote and directed." I was like, "Oh, no shit. All right, yeah, I'll give it a shot." And so I popped it in last night, and I was like, "Damn, this is actually really good." Mein Führer,
I can walk.
Lifts his fucking hand up just to put it down.
Freeman.
We can't let him in. He's gonna see the big board.
Freeman. It's basically a giant parody movie. It's a parody of the Cold War, but the funniest half of the movie takes place on a nuclear bomber going into Russia, and the other half of the movie takes place in this giant pitch black war room that's just darkness around a big ass table with lights over it and a giant board of information on the wall. And one of the it's all Americans, and one of the guys at the table is so German. He's just it's clearly like a German scientist who came over after World War II kind of thing. And at the end of the movie, he's in a wheelchair, and at the end of the movie he pushes himself and just screams, "Mein Führer! I can walk!"
If you heard of mad German scientists, that trope, this is where it came from.
Okay.
100% this is where it came from. And I didn't know. I had no idea going into the movie that James Earl Jones was in it.
James Earl Jones is in it.
Oh yeah, he's one of the guys in the war room, isn't he?
No, he's in the plane. He's on the plane.
He is on the plane?
Yeah, he's the only black dude in the entire movie. And he's on the plane.
Actually, you know what's really funny? I forget what it was called, but when we were home last time, my dad actually showed me another Cold War scenario movie, but it was a serious one, and James Earl Jones was an American general.
Oh shit.
That's so funny.
Yeah, you should forward me that one. That sounds good.
I gotta ask him what it was, but it was a really that one was the movie within 10 minutes. We're already in danger of starting phase 2 of actual nuclear attacks on each other. The attacks happen at the start of the fucking movie, and most of the world is already gone. It's, do we go all the way, or stop now. It's pretty fucked up.
Damn, I like that concept. It was very
I'm gonna
weird.
message him while we're doing this and see if he gets a response, because it was a good one.
The premise of the movie, though, Friedman and listeners, is that this American general,
Dr. Strangelove you're talking about again.
I'm talking about Dr. Strangelove, the premise of Dr. Strangelove. And it's not the German scientist that the movie is named after. But it's this general decides he wants to basically launch a full-scale nuclear attack with Russia. He wants to attack them with our nuclear bombs. And basically the whole movie is everybody, all the important people in the United States, they get in this war room and they're trying to figure out essentially how to stop it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like Tim said, it's just it's a black comedy that kind of...
Oh, it's so pitch black comedy.
Yeah, it looks into how ridiculous some of this is, how we have bombs, how they have bombs, what'll happen, and it goes into this whole thing, and and then you stop to think about it and you're like, man, something like this probably could have actually happened.
Oh yeah.
And it's all just so ridiculous because the whole premise is the general launched this attack, but the plan was made, these go codes were made and all that stuff, so the attack could not be stopped, essentially. And they're like, well, why would you do it? And the guy who approved it was like, why, who let this happen? And they're like, well, you approved it, sir. And he's like, oh shit. It's good.
Tyler, good. I have the name of the movie. My dad already responded.
Oh shit.
By Dawn's Early Light.
Oh shit, that's American as fuck, my dude.
It sure is. So there you go, listeners. If you have seen or want to see Doctor Strangelove, if you want a more gritty, realistic, and much less happy, not less
much
enjoyable.
less enjoyable. Damn.
No. It's quite good, but it's also actually it was one of HBO's first films. I think he said when they
really
or one of those.
Watching when I came over last time you were around.
No, I don't think that's no, because we watched it on at night when. Oh no! Didn't you walk in at the end?
Yeah, I came over.
You saw the planes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the movie we were watching. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go acquire this.
Yeah, you definitely should. If you liked Strangelove, this is a big one to recommend.
Word. All right, we can move on.
Yeah,
right, well, you're off Yo-Ho and Sailing the Seven Seas.
We got way off topic there.
I just want to chime in real quick because tech news is apparently something we also cover here on the TNT podcast.
Yeah.
Mac had their big event today. I always following to see what mistake they're going to make next. But Mac unveiled 3 new products. The new Mac Mini, which had been outdated for 5 years, and they were still selling it at full price. Now they've just brought it up to standards and just have not fucked with the price at all. That's going to be the theme of today. Then they announced the new iPad Pro, which I thought was pretty cool. It has the same full screen, no button aesthetic that the new iPhones have. But they also changed the way that the Apple Pen interacts with it. I'm not gonna lie. If I was an artist, this shit would get me hard, but I'm not, and I don't draw on a tablet. So it's cool. I'm not gonna get it. I can totally see myself beginning to consider replacing a laptop with a tablet, given all the shit they showed off today that the iPad Pro is capable of.
You saw my thing.
I did, but it didn't get me rock hard like
no.
The
I
iPad
look.
video
I
did.
know Apple always has the shiny, but
they always got the shiny.
I haven't had a laptop since college. Is when I had a laptop. Then obviously I built my desktops and have used desktops for years and cell phone. But for those times where I do want something portable, having the tablet plus keyboard option is just really nice. So especially with how powerful they are these days.
I've considered the tablet, but when you're sitting in bed watching, do you have to hold your tablet when you're watching?
I don't know about all tablets, but mine has the same thing the Surface has, where it has that fold-out back that holds itself up anyway.
is it enough to balance itself on you while you're laying down in bed?
It's pretty thin. Some people have complained about it. I think it's fine.
So that's partially the reason I like having a laptop, because I always just like watch shows in bed.
Maximum laziness in bed.
For real, because I can't angle a fucking TV at my bed in this room, so I have to use a laptop. And that's like one of the key drivers of why I still enjoy having one. But thankfully we can transition into the laptops part, because this is the part that fucking pissed me off. So for the longest time, for anyone who doesn't know the history of the MacBook, there was a product once known as the MacBook Air, which was like the thinnest MacBook ever made. And it kind of cut into the design space as the regular MacBook. So for a while, they didn't have the regular one. They just had the Air and the Pro. Then for some reason, they just stopped updating the Air for like 3 years, and it was not worth it to buy anymore. Then they released the MacBook that had the shitty keyboard and only had USB-C and was super controversial. Then they updated the Pro to do all that shit. So that's where we are now. Both of them are way overcosted. They announced the MacBook Air today. The Air is, in all sense of the phrase, better than the regular MacBook, and it's also cheaper. So the question is, why is Apple still selling this hot garbage of a laptop with 2-year outdated hardware more expensive than the updated model? And Apple's just like, this is how it is. This is how our pricing structure works. And it bothers me to no end that this is what it's like. Because now, like, I hang out on a couple of Apple forums, and I don't participate because I think it's fucking stupid. But the general consensus is, unless you buy a new product within like a month or 2 of its release, you're better off just waiting until next year to see if they update it. And this shit gets me pissed. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm at the stage where I've had my MacBook Pro for like 2.5 years now, and one of the USB ports just died. So I'm looking for an eventual replacement, but the problem is they just keep fucking up the new laptops to the point where I'm just gonna keep waiting until they release a better one.
Freeman, seriously, maybe
I'm at the point where I might just end up waiting it out until they don't make laptops anymore, and tablets are the only thing people produce.
Do you just need a laptop for it to be a Mac?
So the short answer is yes. Okay. I work at a company where they still think the year is 1978, and they still have all of the internet proxy rules. That said, so everything needs to be running on a version of Windows that was vetted from 8 months ago. You can't do anything, and as a developer, I need to make sure what I develop runs on all platforms. On top of that, I've started moving into the mobile space, and as everyone knows, Apple controls more than 50% of the mobile space at the moment. So you have to be able to develop for iOS. And unless you're doing some shit where you try and blind develop on a platform agnostic platform like Xamarin Framework, you need to be able to test on a Mac. So my company will not pay for them because they think the year is 1979, and Apple is not a computer company.
So you get a Mac for yourself.
So I get one for myself because they're fucking idiots, and that's what I have to do in order to succeed.
Yeah, that makes
I need
sense.
one that can run both.
Gotcha.
Well,
Tyler,
I'll tell you.
Side note, when I told my dad that you love Dr. Strangelove just now and texted him, he texted me OPE.
OPE. Oh yeah. I don't know why it took me a second.
No, I didn't remember because I haven't seen it in a long time, but I figured it's fresh enough for you.
Yes. That's funny.
It's a code phrase from the movie, Freeman.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny.
Not gonna give it away for the listeners because it might be a spoiler.
Well, that's why I didn't say what code it is.
Yeah,
listeners, if you know what they're talking about, leave it in the comments so I can figure this out. Also, remember,
look, if anyone's
hit the bell button, join the notification
fuck
squad.
You. If anyone's actually seen Dr. Strangelove, though, or somehow have seen By Dawn's Early Light, I'd never even heard of it until my dad just threw it on TV when I was home a few weeks ago. Go ahead and leave comments about them because those movies were both really good.
Yeah. And let us know what your favorite movie is. Maybe we'll do a topic about movies.
Old movies, too. Those are not new.
Yeah, those are not. Well,
those are probably
but that's
both...
the thing. Freeman doesn't watch old movies.
Freeman doesn't watch movies. He just watch anime or anime movies.
That's true.
Tim, keep spouting the truth, Tim.
Yep.
He's spouting the truth. Well, no, was it? So Freeman watches movies. We were watching Scott Pilgrim, which might as well be
anime. Fuck you. Yeah.
You can't be like, oh yeah, Freeman watched a movie that came out like 8 years ago. That's
it's a movie.
My God.
I'm trying to help you here.
I haven't seen all the good classics.
Yeah, you don't have to get the
temporary
gist.
Films. And that's not meant to say I don't enjoy older films. I just don't sit down and watch them when I should.
For sure, but there's also so many Like legitimately part of the reason I don't dive super deep. We don't dive super deep into anime like you do, Freeman, is because there is so much good stuff and backlog. It's the same thing with movies. You could just spend weeks of doing nothing but waking up, eating, and watching movies, and you couldn't get through classics. It would take decades to watch everything.
Yeah,
like
just the stuff that everybody, just to get through like IMDb's top like 100 will take you forever.
Oh my god. You could watch one of those a day and it would take you 3 months. And
a lot of these movies are fucking long. Like they got fucking Casablanca on here, I'm sure.
Oh my god.
Godfather, The Departed.
So this is okay, so IMDb, we're doing this right now. We're doing this.
Okay.
This is really quick. Fucking ad, get out of the way. So IMDb has a top 250. I'm just looking at the top 50 on IMDb, sorted by IMDb rating. So these are the highest rated movies on IMDb.
Wizard of Oz is at number 1.
Yeah. So Wizard of Oz seen, Jaws seen, Terminator seen, Groundhog Day just rewatched. Pirates 1.
What the fuck? No.
Right,
okay, hold on.
Legitimacy.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, user rating. Hold on.
Yeah, that's why.
All right, this site's
okay,
lost.
Hold on. No. I found a better list. Is this? Oh, this is one guy.
Oh wait, no, this is a guy. This is a guy saying no. This ain't right.
Wait, did you find the?
Good. It's the internet.
I think I found the same one that you did.
Chris Walski, the top 100 greatest movies of all time, the ultimate list.
Top 250, sorted by IMDb rating ascent.
No, I know that's what I was on here. I sent a link to you guys to this new one. This is based on how many awards it got, which isn't perfect, but is probably better than just IMDb ratings because those fucking blow. So this starts with Godfather, yes, seen. Shawshank Redemption, I actually have not seen this, but I know that this is one of the fucking absolute
It's a really good
heaters.
movie.
Schindler's List, Saw, Raging Bull, nope. Gotta see Raging Bull.
Before we continue,
what?
I just want to note the runtime on these things. Godfather is 175 minutes.
Yep.
Shawshank 142. Schindler's List is 195. Raging Bull 129.
So
Raging Bull's just over 2 hours, and it's
the longer
barely.
The movie is, the more opportunities it has to have that one good scene that wins you an award.
Actually, well, no, I'll say there are many scenes in The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see Schindler's List because I'm like, this movie is fucking long.
Oh, dude, but it's so good.
It is really
I haven't
good.
watched it since high school, but man, it's good.
I've been meaning to. It's been on my list for a hot minute.
So Tyler, I don't think Freeman would actually have. Freeman, have you seen Godfather 1 or 2?
I actually haven't. It's on my like things to do before I die list.
Tyler, you've seen both.
Yes.
Okay, 1 or 2.
Oh wait. Godfather 2.
Okay, I'd probably say the same thing.
Yeah, like it's something about it. Like it was just good.
It's so good.
Like
but I'm not going to dispute anyone who throws Godfather on top.
No, yeah, of course not. Like I think the first one has so many other good things as well. Like
oh yeah,
so many
it set
other
up the
memorable
whole thing.
scenes.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't think Godfather 2 is as good without 1 being good.
Exactly. With all
right.
You have to get everything established.
I know we're totally way off topic, but we're gonna at least go through these top 10 on this fucking list because these all look like heaters. Casablanca, obviously, an absolute classic. One of those.
I've never seen Casablanca.
My parents are always watching this movie.
It's one of those movies that defines what a classic is. Hell,
yeah.
Citizen Kane. Yes, have seen it multiple times. I doubt I could call it best movie ever because I know a lot of lists have it at the top. Although I feel like we've entered this age where because I feel like for a long time Citizen Kane was the greatest movie ever, and now I think we're kind of moving away from that a little, where people just say it's in like the top 10 or top 20 more, but not the best. But it is definitely
people still
up there.
Acknowledge its history as one of the greatest.
I'm never gonna watch. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Citizen Kane. It really, like, whether or not it's the best movie ever, it really does some fantastic stuff. And if you watch it and know at all about like how many things this pioneered, like him cutting holes in the floor to get shots that make the characters look more imposing because they're higher up than they normally would be, filming at face height, or doing transitions through glass. It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, very practical effects. And I'll say the next one I'm never gonna watch because of that fucking runtime.
I think you should still try.
You think
Gone
so?
with the Wind is really,
Holy crap, this is
really
a long
good.
movie.
238 minutes. It's almost 4 hours long.
I've been told. I've been told to watch it.
Tyler, let me tell you this. Let me put it to you this way. Instead of seeing it as one movie, at the intermission, take a break and watch the next half the other night and treat it like a 2-part movie. Like Godfather 1 and 2 almost. Like there is an intermission in it. Use the intermission to take a break if you need to, but Gone with the Wind is fucking good.
Oh my god, it's even longer than 10 Commandments. Holy shit.
10 Commandments is also really good.
Because my problem, my problem is like I'll watch a long movie if it's good, but like sometimes my patience just runs.
I totally
thin.
hear you. Even if a great way to test it would be get to the intermission. That's a regular movie length. You're not losing much if you give up, if you get bored or something. But if you're hooked,
that's fair.
There's that whole other block for you to get into.
That's fair.
Wizard of Oz, obviously a massive classic.
Yeah, everybody's seen.
And what movie is this? Wizard of Oz.
So have you guys seen the next one? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I've quite literally only seen clips in one of my film study classes.
So this falls into the same category of Dr. Strangelove as black comedy, but this is I mean, you can see Jack Nicholson stars in it, and this is number 9 on here. This is probably his best role. It's utterly fantastic. This whole movie, this cast of characters and everything, it's so good. And it's probably one of the first movies that really tackled mental illness also.
Yeah, that's actually been on my list for a while now. Oh no. Sorry, I'm dropping stuff in the background. Apologize. Yeah, this has been on my watch list for a long time actually.
It's worth. Tyler, if you liked Dr. Strangelove, you will be laughing your ass off with this.
Yeah, I like Jack Nicholson. The premise sounds great.
It's so good. And then finally, Lawrence of Arabia. I rewatched this a few years ago for my film class at my second school. This movie's fantastic.
Baller ass movie.
Super duper good. And notice, Tyler, if you think a 2:16 movie, this is only a few minutes less than Gone with the Wind.
Holy
Actually,
crap,
it's like 20 minutes. I
so
lied.
long.
But still,
that's fair.
Freeman, having recently watched this in the last few years, you don't notice the time. You just sit down.
You actually don't notice the time. Like this game. Not this game. This game. This fucking. Well, you know what? You know what it could cut out? It could cut out all these. Even though I can imagine that. Actually, no. It kind of drives home that like, man, you're in the fucking desert.
Yep.
But like,
sure does.
there's so many shots
of
them walking through the desert. Like, there's so many. Yes, that was long. But
Freeman, one of the first scenes is like 20 minutes just spent at a well where one guy is there and people come and go from the well, and you just see them from like 3 miles away riding up through the heat, and they're just riding on like a camel or a horse or something.
It does.
That's how you set the tone for a film.
You sure fucking do.
It does feel like that. Like the movie is an experience, I feel.
Can we just make the topic go through this list and talk about old classic movies?
Damn it. No.
No, you want to,
can't
Tyler.
Do it. Because
you're a motherfucker. Why not?
Because we gotta have a real topic.
How is this not a real topic?
It is a real topic.
Look, we'll obviously go back
also,
to the
Freeman,
news.
again, Freeman hasn't seen most of these.
It's fine. Last week's topic was literally just adding where I spoke for an hour straight. We can
actually, you know why? Hold on. You know why you should watch Lawrence of Arabia? Because it's a tale of the first weeb.
No, stop that.
It's true. It's about a white dude who's like, yo, Middle Eastern culture is the bomb. I want to be a Middle Easterner.
The Middle East taboo.
He is. It's great. And that's when I learned about the word wog, the fucking slur wog. I was like, what the fuck is a wog?
Oh,
It's a
Tyler, fuck you so much.
It's
You're tainting this movie so badly.
But no. Like, all right, I'm not like it would like that part was funny, right? Like wog is funny. I mean, it's not. It's a racial slur.
Who's the wog? Him? I don't even
No.
know.
A wog is a non-white English person, but they mostly used it against Middle Easterners.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that when he goes back to HQ?
Yeah, it's when he goes back and they're like, yo, you look like a fucking wog.
Yep. I know exactly
and
what you're
he's like,
about.
no, like you don't understand like their culture, like, which is good because you see it from the beginning, right? Like you see this character evolve from this British officer who like always dresses this certain way, and you know they're all hearing about these tales of T.E. Lawrence, like, oh, you know, he's basically winning the entirety of the the African campaign. Like it's incredible.
It's World War I with the Middle Eastern clans literally fighting the Turks, Freeman. The Ottoman Empire.
It's basically that whole story, and
this isn't like a white savior movie, is it?
No.
Actually, it's true though. This is a true story.
Okay, it's a true story, but it's not a white savior movie.
It isn't a white savior movie though.
It's not. It's the white guy goes and learns how to integrate some of what he knows into their tactics and kill it.
Yeah, he teaches. Basically, he was doing everything that the Americans were doing later on.
Yep.
As sensitive as that might sound.
He's like, I brought guns. Let's use them with your tactics, and I'll literally start wearing like wrappings and stuff. And that's why Tyler was talking about the insult, because halfway through the movie, or like 2/3 through the movie, he goes back to the British soldiers, and they're like, dude, you look like a fucking native. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah,
and he's like, no, nah, this is way better, dude.
This is way better. And like, they think he's fucking crazy. They think he's like, maybe he's gotten a little weird, and he did get a little weird, according to some history texts. Because I also learned about him, and that's what kind of made me want to watch the movie. Nice. Yeah, I took a World Wars class in college, and we were talking about all this weird shit that, like, apparently he was like into bondage or some shit like that. But they touch on that part, like, partially in the movie, of like him potentially having some sexual deviancy when he got, because there's a scene where he was kidnapped. And like later on, like what's his face, who plays him, Peter O'Toole, he does this very like obvious thing where he is like uncomfortable when he gets back to the rest of his soldiers. And I'm like, whoa, I wonder if, like, it makes you wonder, like, oh, are they trying to allude to some of that stuff that like might have been done to him?
Peter O'Toole also is the main. He plays Lawrence, the main character.
Yeah, he plays Lawrence.
All right, we're legitimately gonna make the topic be about this, because this is, like, Tyler, listening to you talk about it, clearly you are into this idea too. You just don't want to admit it. So
I know, but I also I haven't seen most of these either.
You're a dirty liar.
No, all right. So what's the next one?
No. We're going back to the news to finish it up and do the weeb shit, and then we'll come back to the list. Because you know what? Even if we just work through the list, this, glancing ahead a little bit, even just down to 15, this seems like a really fantastic list of classics. I think it's even just worth talking about this list, even if we haven't seen all of them. All right, but let's switch massive gears to the game we're probably going to play after the podcast.
Some overdank.
So BlizzCon is upon us. And with that, there's rumors flying left and right.
Wait, did it start? Or you mean it's like this weekend?
I'm pretty sure it's not happening right now.
Here, you talk, I'll check.
When is it? November 2nd. So it starts Friday.
So it is this weekend.
So BlizzCon is upon us. And by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be starting. But rumors are flying left and right about what's going on with Overwatch. And I don't know where the rumors coming from. But there's a lot of shit flying about, like, PvE co-op crap that's never going to happen. But the real, like, prevailing rumor going around is that Hero 29, who is undoubtedly being announced at BlizzCon, because for every year that Overwatch has been a thing, there's been a hero announced at BlizzCon, is who we believe is the town leader who was previously one of the founding members of Overwatch. People have done a little bit of research, and they found that right when Doomfist got announced, there was a comic that came out, and it was one of my favorite comics because Reaper wears this dumb fucking costume. Because it's like they go to this masquerade ball, and they walk into a room with all of Overwatch's leaders in it. And Moira is very clearly in this comic like a year before she got announced as a character. So they clearly had shit planned out, and there's this dude sitting there who has a mohawk. And when you look at some of like the original Overwatch images that came out when they announced Ana, the first new hero to be added to the game, there's this dude who's in the founding members of Overwatch who has quite literally the same mohawk as this dude sitting at the Talon table. So there's a lot of speculation that he is going to be the hero we see next. As for what he does, some theorize he's going to be a DPS who has an anti-heal ability. Take that as you will. I think it means to be kind of like Ana's grenade ability, where she stops healing while that effect is up. Right now, that's unique to her. No one else in the game has that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that repurposed to another hero. But that's probably the one rumor that's going to come to fruition. I really doubt they're doing Overwatch PvE mode. I think they really need to save that for the events if they want to make them special. We've talked about this to death right now, but people are getting tired of the events doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Even though they kind of already established that when Uprising rolls around in mid-spring, there's probably going to be another like PvE event going on. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting tired of these same events.
Yeah, the
over and over.
The team has already said they've pulled away from the events team, and they're focusing more on the quality of life improvements in the game. And what I'm hoping also it means more heroes. If they don't have to sit around and develop like what's the next Junkenstein's Revenge expansion, and they can just figure out who heroes 30 and 31 are going to be. I would actually be much happier with that.
Yeah, more heroes, more maps,
more variety. Cool. More maps definitely. I feel like those don't come out fast enough, given how much they get played. Like you pump out a hero, only 2 players in the game can play it. But you pump out a map, every time that map's picked, 12 players get to experience that content. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's something that I feel like they should focus on more. And also fixing ones that seem a little bit unfair or unbalanced, like Horizon Zero Colony. I feel like could be worked on a little bit.
Horizon Zero Colony.
Wait, shit. The Horizon Colony. Jesus Christ. Horizon Colony, not Horizon Zero Colony. It's because I was trying to convince someone to buy a PS4 today.
Using Horizon Zero Dawn as a
and they were like, "Oh shit, that's right. Horizon Zero Dawn is for the PS4." I was like, "Hell yeah!" Game is fantastic.
That's it for Overwatch rumors. Who's got the next topic?
I threw that in there just to do something before we turn into the weeb shit. So this isn't really a topic. This is more just something I wanted to mention that's not really related to my week per se, but kind of to news we've talked about. So we talked about a while ago how Henry Cavill has been confirmed as Geralt for the Witcher TV show. And I know everyone, including me, and probably you too, Tyler, were kind of like, I don't know how this is going to be.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and I have actually been watching The Tudors on Netflix over the past week or two. I think I mentioned it last week. But what I didn't mention is that Henry Cavill is actually one of the top billed. He's not the king in The Tudors, but he's like one of the top. He's like the Duke of Suffolk who hangs out with the king all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, he could probably pull off Geralt. He does a great job of the kind of, like sleeps around a little bit, kind of schemes a little bit, but not super hard, but just kind of has that casual charisma almost that Geralt kind of pulls off. And it seems like he could get along with people if he wanted to, but he doesn't try that much because he doesn't really give a shit. So watching The Tudors makes me more excited to see him as Geralt.
Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of throw that vote of confidence out there because I was so on the fence about it before. And it seems like watching this kind of gives me more excitement for it.
All right. I mean, yeah, because that's what I was also wondering too. I was like, does he have like a lot of TV time? But I guess he does. I didn't
I
know.
just haven't watched anything he's been in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, okay, I saw him as Superman. Obviously, it's kind of whatever. But this feels much more down to earth and similar to the role, and he's really killed it so far. So it makes me more excited.
That's good. All right. All right. Well, I'll definitely see. I'm still obviously gonna give it a shot when it comes out.
Absolutely.
But I find it
But yeah.
interesting. Just one quick thought
yeah.
about that. Like normally we see a lot of TV screen actors go to movies, never the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've kind of ebbed and flowed, but I feel like it just feels like it's a lot harder to go the other way. Like it just doesn't end up with successes.
Well, you end up with the movies are supposed to be like the ultimate endpoint of the career path, but once you get into movies, you can continue getting into movies. Now he's at the point where he can work on projects he wants to, regardless of whether it's TV or movie.
True. He is that kind of star now. Like he is that A-list celebrity. Like he's like I can do what I want. I'm him
like
and Henry Cavill.
He's gonna do the show, but it's not like he's out of movies. He still is like an eligible actor to be in movies, and you want to be at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good.
Damn,
anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I felt like it was a fun little update.
Yeah.
But now we can go overseas.
Yeah, I'm at a complete loss here. I was like waiting for a decent transition point. And I
know. I try. Look, there's nothing.
We fucked up.
Bad.
All right, whatever. It's time for the weep shit. No transition. Let's just go in fucking cold. Speaking of cold, the Crunchyroll player is fucking up. So I gave him some praise a couple weeks ago of dealing with the criticism they got from a majority of the YouTube community bitching about no HTML5 player. But their HTML5 player is having a lot more problems than people thought they would. And it really only came to my attention the first time I had to change the language on the player. So generally, I just leave it in English, and that's fine. But I'm watching Phoenix Wright on Crunchyroll. And for anyone who's played the games, everyone's name in Japanese is a pun. And in English, they always translate it to something to keep the pun alive, even if the name isn't accurate. But when the anime came out, Capcom, who owns it, said, well, I don't know what we want to do for English. Do we want to like maintain the original names and lose all the humor of it, or have the subtitles use the English names even though they're very clearly saying the Japanese names? So they had the awesome idea to just put 2 subtitle tracks on Crunchyroll, and you picked, you want US English or US English Americanized, and the Americanized has like the game translated name. So I swapped to that because it's better seeing Phoenix Wright on screen and not Naruhodo Ryuichi. And that was great. But with the new player, it doesn't actually change when it's in. If you have 2 tracks in the same language, it never actually switches them. So the player is just literally unusable in that regards. So I had to install like the Chrome plugin to use the HTML5 player they already use for PS3 and other older consoles. So they already have this player developed. They just don't use it on their website. And the old one works, and the new one they're pushing out doesn't. And I just don't get this. So I'm back to using their unofficial old HTML5 player.
Damn. Unfortunato.
Don't let me catch you slipping. Because you're always slipping. Anyway, while I was on the topic of Phoenix Wright, I'll just keep it rolling. They did announce that Phoenix Wright is getting a 1-hour special to cover the first case from Game 3. For anyone who's not in the loop, what's going on with Phoenix Wright is the third game in the series, which is probably my favorite, is the central focus of this season. And the first case in every game is always the tutorial. Tyler, you remember how in Phoenix Wright 1, it's quite literally Phoenix's first case.
Yes,
so they're able to just like explain the gameplay mechanics to you. In the second game, he has amnesia during the first case. It's the most bullshit way to like, make you re-explain the game mechanics. And they use that as the opener for this season. So everyone is sitting here going like, well, what about the original case from Game 3 where you take control of Phoenix's teacher, Mia Fey, in her first case, where she happens to be defending Phoenix Wright. And everyone was like, where's it going to fit in? Because now there's like no time for another case where no one knows what they're doing. So they answered the question saying, you're going to have a 1-hour TV special for this. But the problem is, it's not coming out till January. Now that means they're going to get through all 12 episodes of the first half of the season and not hit the last 2 cases that are kind of like dependent that you already know what's going on in the case that's in the 1-hour special that's in January. So long story short, this is either going to be fucking terrible or they're just going to delay the shit out of every case leading up to this.
Well, it's going to be bad.
It sounds terrible. Then there's speculation that the next game, Apollo Justice, might get adapted in this season, but that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. That's not happening. So that's not happening. Moving on. We got more bad news here. So, oh shit. So, Tim,
I added that shit too.
So the line below that is meant to say My Hero. I just wrote Attack on Titan twice. Anyway, so preserving the order. Warner Brothers announced that they're moving forward with their live-action Attack on Titan movie. This would be the Western adaptation as opposed to the shitty Japanese one that came out like 3-4 years ago. But they've announced today that the directors of the remake of It, as well as the producer of the Harry Potter series, will both be working on this.
Somehow, all of these guys will fuck it up still.
Well, no, don't get me wrong. It's going to be terrible, but this makes me think it might be a high-quality piece of shit. That we're
a high-quality piece. We ain't talking about diarrhea here. It's going to be
We're talking about like a golden turd here.
Yeah, a golden turd.
Yeah. I'm hoping that because they have... I don't know what the It directors have done besides horror, but I'm hoping if they play up like the fear factor of the Titans and really like go for that angle, it might be cool if they play like
be clowns instead of naked.
Damn.
Well, let's be real here. When they did the Titans in Japanese CG, they were not creepy and they just came off as just really like unnerving. And the thing is, the Titans are supposed to be like that, but that's not the tone you get in either the anime or the manga. So it's really weird. On to even shittier live-action news.
Oh, God. This is the one I just added.
Legendary Pictures is going to produce a live-action My Hero Academia movie.
This is gonna
now,
be
listeners, I want you to go on to Google. God. I want you to search My Hero Academia live-action. And I want you to go right into images, and that very first image right there. I want you to look at that, and that's exactly where we're about to fucking go.
Oh, no, I'm scared.
I'll give you a second, listeners. This is the greatest picture on the internet.
You know, I saw this picture.
It's the greatest picture ever.
It's not real.
It is. That's the cast.
Stop.
No, it's not. I'm joking.
Oh my God! You actually gave me a fucking heart attack.
The link is called funnyjunk.com.
Michael Cera as Deku, I would kill myself. Now, The Rock is All Might. I fuck with that.
That's actually
I'd
not
watch that.
terrible.
Yeah.
The picture though is so fucking terrible. I'm legitimately though really not looking forward to this whatsoever.
Yeah,
All Might's gonna.
This movie's gonna
oh my God! Do you okay? If you're still on images, do you see a few after that? There's a picture of an All Might
no
real life
thanks.
person.
There's an All Might what?
Good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 after the first one. It's like the 8th picture. It's this guy with a Deku wig on and then a guy with an All Might thing on his face.
Anytime people try to cosplay All Might, it always ends up coming off super weird, trying to make that comic book style look real.
But that's what I mean. That like I see that and I'm like, this looks like is the movie gonna look that much better than this piece of shit?
The problem is you can't make it work in live action, so they're gonna change something. And the problem is once they change enough, it's nothing like the original, and at that point you're like, why the fuck is this being adapted?
I just this is gonna look like such absolute
it's gonna suck. Like
I don't see how this could possibly
Attack on Titan might work, but this is just way too stylized to work in real life. It's just like Full Cowling's gonna look like shit.
Full Cowling's gonna look
They're not even gonna get that far. We're going to watch
someone... try to okay, so the lightning off the body could maybe look okay, but can you imagine when they try to like light him up at 100%?
It's gonna look stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Worse is, you know, his legs flapping in the wind in the early part of the show.
His legs flapping in the wind.
That looks weird in the anime. Imagine real life. It's gonna look fucking disgusting. It's even worse than that scene from Harry Potter with the Jello.
How fast is everything gonna fucking? Oh my God! Can you imagine the scene of All Might trying to present him one for?
I'm out. Look, with The Rock in that scene, I could see it being 100% comedy.
Listeners, this ain't gonna be good. All right. Long story short,
bad. But let me talk about something else that's also really bad.
That's fine.
So I'm still cleaning up some of the shows that I haven't finished watching from not last season, even the season before. I'm catching up on Megalobox. That's how I can watch the finale. But I'm also finishing up Hanebado, which, despite all the praise it got at the beginning of last season, this has to be one of the worst done shows I've seen in a long time. So it started off cool. Episode 3, you find out the main character has a shitty past. Her mom abandoned her instead of teaching her to play badminton. And the main character just goes off and starts just like shitting on every person she meets. And you're like, oh, cool. She's going through this like, dark arc where she has to like realize she's not a shitty person and like learn to love badminton. Not worth the finale, and she hasn't changed in 8 episodes. She's still telling everyone off, and no one wants to tell her she's being rude because it's Japan and no one actually takes high school sports that seriously. So we're at episode 8, and it's been 3 episodes since it was announced the main character, who literally no one likes, is going to face off against the girl in the first episode who was a bitch, who's just been redeeming herself ever since, who's not the protagonist of the show. So we're going into the last game that's been hyped up for 3 episodes about how you want to watch the main character win, except the main character has done nothing redeeming for 8 episodes, and her opponent, who the show wants you to think should lose, has been nothing but like the best character on screen.
Damn.
This show,
10 out of 10.
This show is just actually terrible.
10
I
out of
don't
10.
understand what they're trying to like prove in this last episode. I don't think this can redeem it, despite all the good sweaty animation.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying, Freeman. I keep glancing over at Discord and seeing the picture of Mirio.
No thanks.
No thanks.
This is good. I'm sorry.
You gotta do some extra editing and throw these pictures into the
Oh god, I'm
on
gonna
YouTube.
forget. Just like I forgot to do the time codes last week after I said I would.
Because you're bad, Tim.
No, that was mostly because I was still doing overtime, and I just completely forgot that day.
I don't blame you. But on to the good parts of anime. I realize all the weeb shit has been just bad news this week. Anyway, on to the 2 good pieces of news is everyone's making progress along on this season. All the shows are good. I'm getting ready to catch up on Slime soon. The show's getting hyped. But the 2 shows I do want to take some time to talk about. The first one caused a little bit of stir in the anime community because arguably the largest anime YouTuber out there right now, Joey the Anime Man, when he was doing his pre-season review, he went over the show Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai and started bitching about how this show is going to be some fan service shit and how, the anime world needs less of this. And his fans demanded an apology because he was wrong. And he did this whole video about how he doesn't like, you don't deserve an apology from him. Yes, he was wrong. This isn't like a harem ecchi show. But that said, he's like, I still don't like it that much. And I respect his opinion. This show isn't for everyone. But I think the show is really good. By episode 3, I've seen more character and plot progression than I've seen in most shows that go on to be 12 episodes long. We've already had one of the best like confession scenes in a non-romance anime by episode 3 than I've seen in most 12 to 24 episode shows. I don't know who wrote this thing, but they're doing it right. I'm very excited for the next episode because they've like fleshed out the 2 main characters, and now like I don't know. I'm like kind of gushing on this. Like this is like one of this is like one of the best high school drama animes I've seen in a long time.
Oh shit!
And don't let the whole bunny girl bullshit catch you off guard. The girl's literally in a bunny suit for the first 6 seconds of the show, and then has not worn it since then. And people keep joking around. This is the most misleading title. I came here to watch bunny girls, and there's none.
I came here to watch bunny girls.
Of course.
Yeah. So
yeah, Hugh Hefner died. I'm trying to see some bunnies, my dude. Come on.
For real though, just watch the first 6
What
seconds of the episode over and over again. You're good. But if you like anime dramas like I do, Bunny Girl Senpai is really good so far. If you like Bakemonogatari, everyone's saying it's giving you the same vibe. I personally think it's more like Melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya, but different strokes for different weebs. Anyway, the next one I want to talk about is the new season of Sword Art Online is getting better by the week. I am not a champion for Sword Art Online. I don't think anything after episode 11 was good. That said, this season is hitting all the right spots and it's fixing all the problems with most of the overpowered main character shows. Like, how do I put this without spoiling it? Here, I'll put it real simple. Kirito is not overpowered in this show. Kirito is just as strong as everyone else. He actually is dealing with like real issues in this game. It's not one of those like overdrawn, like where the first episode of Sword Art Online has like the big bad going, meet me on fucking floor 100, kill me or everyone fucking dies. This is Kirito's in a game. He doesn't know why he's in the game. He doesn't know how to get out of the game. He doesn't know the rules of the game, and he's learning everything gradually. It's not like Sword Art Online where he's the fucking beta cheater who knows all the rules up to level 20. This is you're watching him start from level 0, and it's interesting because this could have been another show. It could have been any other character from any of the universe thrown into this world. But the fact that you take an established character and break him down to his level 0, he doesn't have any overpowered bullshit. He doesn't have his friends. He doesn't have anything set up other than just an established character. And you're watching this character you've already known change and learn to start over. And I think that's really good. So if you have watched Sword Art Online, you've shit on in the past, I think this might be the redemption arc. Give it a shot. And that's it for the weep shit.
Okay, before we get to our topic, not a break.
Post in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I posted something pretty spicy in the chat. That was pretty good.
Fucking
redhead.
So I was just on r/gaming, and page 1, Wild West searches are up 745% on Pornhub thanks to Red Dead Redemption 2.
I love that anytime a game launches, the Pornhub searches are always like the first metric people.
Right? Yo, I mean, actually though, Pornhub is the true like
metric.
Let's be honest, that their yearly studies, like their yearly metrics that that they come out with, it's pretty fucking nuts.
I remember the one year they published that viewership was always down during the time frame where Game of Thrones was airing.
Yep. I don't know. I find those numbers always fascinating.
Data analytics is cool, but once you throw Pornhub in the mix, it just becomes hilarious.
That r/data is beautiful. That sometimes hits the front page.
Yeah,
of
they'd have
Reddit.
to make a new sub called like Data is Sexy or something for these ones.
Right.
All right, so now we're gonna go back to our list of top 100.
Oh, do you want to take our short break so we can let our sponsors give their message here?
I mean, I honestly don't need to.
Well, I do.
Do
All right,
guys...
we're going to take
okay.
a short break. We'll be
we're
right
gonna take
back.
our short break. Be right back.
Short break.
Hey, listeners, it's your boy Friedman. This episode of the TNT podcast has been sponsored by Insert Sponsor Here. So head on over to Insert Website Here and enter promo code TNT for X% off their product or service.
And we're back. Thank you, Friedman, for that ad read.
That's fine. I'm very proud of our
sponsor.
Insert Sponsor here.
But yeah, we're going to chug back to this top 100 list. I haven't been putting time codes in because it's been bad, but I'm going to try to remember to put this in the description on YouTube for anyone who wants to look at this list of top 100 that we're working off of. Because it's a pretty good list so far. So we had made it to number 10 when we interrupted our own news topics to talk about this.
Yeah, it was rough.
But 11 and 12 is kind of a doubleheader. We have Vertigo and Psycho. I would definitely say those are two of the most famous Hitchcock movies by a decent amount. I mean, like, there's probably one or two others that are really big, but...
Birds is up there.
I'll say, you know what's fucking dumb? I've seen Birds, haven't seen Psycho.
Have you seen Vertigo?
No, actually, I've never heard of Vertigo.
Yeah, same.
Have you seen Rear Window?
No.
Okay, well, fuck you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, no, I was reading the synopsis of Vertigo, and I was like, oh, this looks like it's my shit, though.
Vertigo is really good. I haven't watched it in a very long time. Jimmy Stewart, he is one of those actors who, back then, like in the 50s and 60s, was so good. I only saw this once. But man, Vertigo is really good. And Psycho is obviously one of the most... I mean, there's a TV show based on it, which I believe my parents watch, and they say it's really good. Bates Motel.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it.
But Psycho, I mean, is one of the most classic movies, and one of the most twist-beginning movies in history. They're both just fantastic. And they are definitely classics. Obviously, we can't talk about them much more since you guys both haven't seen them. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
Vertigo.
Feel free to describe as much of it as you want, though.
No, I honestly don't remember Vertigo that well. I know it was good. I remember it being good. I really just don't remember it that well. Psycho, I remember a lot of, and Psycho is fantastic. So I mean, Psycho has the classic. Shower scene.
Yeah.
The shower scene.
And then obviously we talked about it earlier. Godfather Part 2 is next. You can make cases. I'm sure there are theses that have been written. That's probably the plural of thesis, right? Theses?
I think so.
Probably.
Theses?
No, it's thesis.
I'm not an English major.
Either way, I'm sure that people who like do film study either as a major or I'm sure there's some kind of film theory or something. Someone has written about whether Godfather Part 1 or Part 2 is better. Because it's not Part 3. Part 3 is bad.
And if you're Italian, you've seen The Godfather.
Everybody has seen at least some. Everybody knows. Like Vito. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Like, you come to my... Like, everyone knows what that voice is. You heard me do it. You come near my daughter's wedding. And you know what I'm talking... It's the Godfather. Everyone knows it.
Daughter's wedding. To ask me a favor.
Yeah, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean, it's Al Pacino, Robert De Niro...
All-star cast.
Francis Ford Coppola directing. Like, everybody... They're all huge. And it's so good. It's so good. This is actually one I watched for my film study class that I don't remember that well, On the Waterfront. But I know On the Waterfront is a hugely famous movie. I'm trying to... Man, I know I watched it because the film study class was one of the classes where I was like, fuck yeah, I love this class. I want to watch Lawrence of Arabia was an extra credit movie for that class that I watched because I just wanted to watch it for some reason. Like, not for some reason, like... I really want to see this fucking movie again, and if I can do it for school.
Why the fuck not, right? Yeah.
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 I really don't remember
I've not heard of
well, but it's
On
good.
the Waterfront.
It's again one of those just big classics. Now this one I haven't even seen, Sunset Boulevard.
I've heard of it. I've heard of references also to this movie.
I don't actually know if I have.
No,
it's got to be decent. It's up on the list, but I've never seen. I'm sure if I text my dad,
he would know.
Raving about it.
You know what's really funny? I know it sounds silly, but honestly, this is the kind of topic. Like, if my dad was ever going to be on the podcast,
have your dad guest star.
Dial him in real quick.
He would do it. No, he's probably in bed already. It's 10 o'clock, dude. I feel like I should know some whatever.
What?
I feel like I should know Sunset, but I just don't.
It sounds like the premise sounds familiar. A screenwriter is hired to rework a faded silent film star script, only to find himself developing a dangerous relationship.
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Actually, hold on. I'm flicking through screenshots of this. Okay, maybe I'm thinking. I think I'm thinking of something else. I think I haven't seen this. You know what? I'm confusing this for something else. Yeah, I'm confusing this for something else. I don't know. I don't think I've seen this. If I have, it was a long time ago.
Never mind.
When before I went to college, my dad would every Friday was at least one classic and one newish movie that we'd watch. Like that just happened every week. So I've seen so many that I've forgotten. But the next one, Freeman's probably even seen Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump's just...
Forrest Gump is...
I'll always
there's so many
rewatch that
references.
This one of the movies that makes Tom Hanks a legend.
This movie, I feel like, has played on every single fucking TV channel ever. Like, you cannot not see this movie on cable TV ever.
Someone said recently that the time gap covered in Forrest Gump, we've now reached that time gap between now and when Forrest Gump ended. So you can in theory have a modern Forrest Gump.
Interesting.
That sucks. Like Son of Gump. Obviously that'd be a pile of shit, but still.
Starring Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment. Sora.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, no. The Sound of Music. I've only seen
this movie.
Bits and pieces of it. The premise, the premise didn't catch me enough for me to even want to watch it. Honestly,
I've seen it a million times. I don't think it deserves a spot. I don't think this is as good as number 17. I've seen this movie a million times.
That's a fresh take.
I think it used to be good, but like I just don't think this movie just holds up anymore.
Maybe it is one of those movies that you can't watch that much and you kind of burn out. I could definitely see that being the case.
Like I still love the songs, but it's just like everything that isn't a song I don't love anymore.
So you know what's funny? I actually really didn't like musicals as a kid. I think they've grown on me more as time has gone on. But everybody knows that like the song and everything, like you said, Freeman, of The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
It's just one of those ones that's gonna endure forever. Like, I mean, obviously, like all of these are, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it doesn't deserve the spot, according to Freeman.
Look, it's good. I don't think it's the 17th best movie of all time, though.
Right. That's fair.
That's fair.
I mean, in terms of nominations or awards, it makes sense. This won a fuck ton at the time.
Oh, yeah, of course it did. Yeah. I actually don't know where the stars are coming from. 5 stars for actors, direction, and screenplay. I don't know if that's like a custom thing that's
probably a custom thing that the guy is putting on.
I don't know. Either way, next one, 12 Angry Men. This is actually hilariously, I specifically remember, you guys will understand this. Back when I think it was either in my break from between schools or something, my family was watching this for our Friday night movie. And I got a text from Ed, and I went to hang out at his house 20 minutes into this movie. Never finished it, but man, I hear so many good things.
This is one of those movies
I'm surprised you never finished this. This is a good one.
Dude, I gotta.
Like, I remember. Actually, it's very strange. So this is the first classic, like I would say, a classic movie I've ever watched. Okay, no, never mind. Because my mom made me sit through Wizard of Oz, and I never really cared for it. Made me. I was never a fan of Wizard of Oz. I always thought it was yeah, there we go. I should have said this right off.
Hot take, yeah.
Here's my hot take. I always thought that shit was for goobers.
Wow.
Yeah, I always thought Wizard of Oz was savage. Lame. Even when I was a kid, we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Fuck that shit.
No, I'm not being on the bush. I felt the same way too as a kid. I'm like, this is one of those movies that I know is cheesy, but like I accept it for this used to not be cheesy in the 50s kind of thing.
That's certainly true.
And I respect the movie for what it is, like 100%. Like it, like one of the basically the first movie in color. It did all of these things technically. Like it was just like. It's fundamentally a good movie.
The way they worked the color shift into the actual plot of it always got me. Like that's why I thought it was a crazy idea.
It was good. It's very good. It was well executed, especially for then. But then the second movie now it brings us to 12 Angry Men. We briefly talked about it in my 8th grade class. Why we were talking about this movie in my 8th grade class, I can't remember. We only watched a snippet of. Oh no, we were reading the screenplay, I think. And we read the screenplay. Yeah, and we only watched a scene. And I ended up watching this movie later on because for some reason, it was a week or two later, we were at Blockbuster or something like that, and I saw it. And I was like, yo, I kind of want to watch this movie. So I had my dad get it for me, and I watched it. And I was like, yo, this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it. I remember the movie, and I just thought it was really good.
It's one of those movies that isn't even about the plot. It's just about watching everyone.
Yeah, it's the situation. And you think about it, it's all, and it's a movie that's in one. I think it's in one whole take.
It's in one room.
I know it's in one room, but
I don't think it's in one take, but it's in one room.
That concept was very interesting because the only other movie I saw around the same time that did something like that was Phone Booth or whatever.
Phone Booth. What was that movie?
That it's with oh my god, what the fuck is his name?
Man, looks like a very 2002 movie.
It is a 2002 movie. It's got Kiefer Sutherland in it. He's the bad guy. And it's got Colin Farrell. That's his name.
Oh, wow.
And the whole movie takes place with Colin Farrell in this phone booth.
What the hell?
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't it's a lot smaller scale than a jury room.
So I was going to say, Freeman, do you know what the synopsis of this movie is. Obviously, you can read the
12
thing
Angry
there.
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's essentially the jurors are deliberating over a crime.
It's more than that. It's not really more than that. You're not wrong, but it's one guy is holding out against the entire rest of the jury
And they're all
from
trying
the
to like
get-go.
explain their point of view to him, right?
They all think it's basically. I think it's actually a case of like a kid,
It's
even a black kid or something, is accused of murder.
Yeah,
or
this
something.
This kid was suspected. He's on trial for murdering his father.
Yeah, and they walk into the room at the start of the movie, and 11 of the guys say guilty, 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 and one guy says I don't think he's guilty. Or I'm not sure he's guilty. He says,
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's guilty.
Because
and that's the movie.
they go around the room, like one guy's like, oh, I got tickets to a game. I'm not trying to stay here. Clearly this motherfucker's guilty. And everybody's like, yeah, I'm not trying to stay here forever. He's guilty, blah, blah, blah. And the dude who speaks up, he's like, listen, we're talking about like a person's life. Like, even though things may be, obvious, that might not be so. I think we owe it to him, even if he is guilty, to look at the facts. And so that's what they do.
Yep. And it takes place in the jury room, and it's fantastic.
Now I really want to watch this.
Freeman, I legitimately, I know me and Tyler have either seen most of or a bunch of these movies. This is still a really, really good list. This list, if you want to start watching classic movies.
Oh no, I'm not
need a
disputing
break
that.
from
I know
anime.
all these movies are good movies.
No, I know. But for those at home too, when I include this list, this is a really good list to start from, and you could honestly probably work out away from like any single movie to find more classics. We don't even know what's left. I mean, we're hitting 19, West Side Story.
Fucking West Side Story.
One of the most classic stories there is.
This was at a time where I didn't like musicals. This was an exception for me.
Even Freeman knows it.
Dude, I know this one. I've had the fortune of both seeing the movie as well as seeing this like as a stage play, and I'll actually say this is way better as a play than it is as a movie.
I'll bet it was totally made for a stage, like a.
The story is great, but I think it's definitely way better as a play.
Mm-hmm.
God, this next movie.
This is fun. Yeah, this next one sucks dick. We should, in fact, skip it. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Star Wars: A New Hope is number 20.
No, the real one after West Side Story is, in fact, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope.
So here's the funny thing I just noticed. Starting with West Side Story, we started leaving 5 stars on everything behind to go to lower star 4.85 and 4.9 for actors, direction, and screenplay.
Yeah, now we're entering,
still very good.
The shitty movie era.
No, I think you could easily argue that Star Wars is not one of the best movies of all time. I think that's actually a case to be made that it is not that amazing of a movie.
I'd argue it's one of the most influential movies of all time.
That's what I was actually going to say. Freeman, if you hadn't stolen my point.
Whatever. Go ahead. Continue your point.
No, actually, though, it few movies have the cultural weight of Star Wars behind them. Like, I don't think outside of, let's call it, Godfather, Citizen Kane, Casablanca, and Forrest Gump, maybe, are the ones people might know the names of more than Episode 4 if they're not movie people. And I think you could argue that Star Wars still tops that entire list of things that you could walk up to someone and say Star Wars and they'll know what you mean.
Right.
Versus, like, if you walk... Yeah.
Yeah, like Lawrence of Arabia. What the fuck? Or
if you have any passing interest in movies, you know what those are. But if you don't have any interest in movies, you can still know what Star Wars is.
Right. Everybody knows what fucking Star Wars is.
But back to what you mentioned a second ago, Tyler, the movie that I can't stand, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Really?
I am not into this. I fully admit that it's on me. And I'm sure this movie's fantastic, and I'm all for movies that don't talk all the time and have a lot of symbolism, but man, this feels up its own ass to me too much, and I'm pretty sure it's not, but oof.
Stanley Kubrick saw some other shit in this movie. I saw like half of it. I wasn't able to get through all of it when I first started watching it.
Just can't.
It's a hard movie to get through.
So I'm not gonna lie, like I love this movie, but at the same time, I also think this is a fucking terrible movie. Like going on, like
damn.
Every single bit and piece of it, I like what's going on. I'm like, this is cool. Movies don't do this. But as a complete package and what he's trying to tell overall, it's like, what the fuck were you trying to do here? Like there's like a 30-minute like Microsoft screensaver sequence in the middle. It's supposed to be like him tripping out, and like I watch, I'm like, well, it's probably really cool in 1968. It's like,
or if you're on drugs,
it's like, what exactly is going on, and why did you need to show this to me? And anytime I ask that question about any given scene in the movie, it falls apart because it seemed just like a lot of cool imagery and abstract storytelling, which I thought was cool. But the complete package is terrible, and I have a hard time recommending this movie to anyone, despite the fact that I like it.
It is certainly one of the most unique movies on the entire list.
Definitely.
Or in history.
You know what I would say? A good replacement to this movie for a motherfucker that is alone in space with like AI and shit, Moon.
Oh, that movie. I've only seen half of the movie. That movie's weird.
It's a weird movie. I love it though.
It's cool.
What is this? I've never even heard of it.
It's got Sam Rockwell in it. And it's just about this guy alone on a space station.
Saying anything else spoils the entire movie.
That's the premise.
Kind of like oh my god, the System Shock.
System Shock. I mean, minus the zombies. Yeah, sure.
Well, I don't know. I didn't play System Shock, but I mean the premise. Alone on a space station with an AI. All right. E.T. We're in Spielberg territory.
I haven't seen this movie in so long.
It's hard to watch now.
I am in that boat. I definitely think it's dated, and honestly, as a kid, I thought E.T. looked fucking creepy, and I would never have been friends with E.T., so I'm pretty sure I've never been inclined to this movie.
Fuck no. If I was a kid and I had a gun, I would have shot E.T. 100%. I would have busted a cap in his ass.
He'd come up to you with like his glowing finger. You'd be like, "Oh fuck, bam!
Oh shit, a gun blast!" Fucking no. Absolutely.
For a long time, I didn't want to watch this because the first 30 minutes of the movie play out like a horror film. Like, it's weird. It has that atmosphere to it. But like, the movie's unique. It has like that weird, like the first scene with his family. It's this very like really close shot. And most movies don't really have it has this really good family atmosphere to it, even though the family's not that amazing in this movie. But the one big criticism I have for this is there's so much fucking dead air in this movie. Scenes where nothing is happening or someone's just walking around that you didn't need to show me. Like, you could easily cut like 20 minutes out of this movie.
You know, it's funny. Jaws came up on that other shitty list. I feel like I'd put Jaws way above this. For a Spielberg movie?
Yeah, Jaws was very prolific.
I don't know. If you only take the second half of E.T., I'd say E.T. is way better.
Yeah, but okay, if we're doing the package game that you were talking... Well, actually, no. We already had Schindler's List way up there. Okay, how about Saving Private Ryan? That's another one he produced.
Saving Private Ryan's 1,000 times better than E.T., fundamentally.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. We found
fundamentally.
E.T.'s not that good.
Yeah, see?
Not that
now
good.
That we're talking
I'm just saying, the second half of E.T. I was trying to just say the second half of E.T. is way better than the first half. I think
that's fine. That's
really
fair.
Brings the movie down.
You know what movie has all good halves? Silence of the Lambs.
Bruh.
23.
This movie was great.
Anthony Hopkins' definitely most famous role.
You know what's weird? So my sister,
Chianti.
I got like a weird thing with it. Well, not weird, but so I really like Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
But like my sister, so for a while she was into this whole like investigating serial killers kind of thing. And like she watched this
interesting.
And she watched this movie and she's like, this is something I might want to like do as a career. Like not like be in the CIA, but like, you know, interviewing like criminals. I was like, Gab, coming from a person who has to sometimes deal with criminals. I don't think this is the thing that you want to do. But like for a while, she was dead set and like she really liked this movie. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no.
Hold on, real quick. I just need to chime in because the same thing happened to me in 1999 when Titanic came out. I started doing research at our elementary school library into this because I'm like, there's no fucking way
Holy shit,
the unsinkable ship sank on its first trip. Like, there's no way this shit happened. And I went like off the deep end conspiracy theory and did as much research as I could pre-internet into how the Titanic could have possibly sunk because there's no way this happened and it's totally just a fake story. So
all right, Alex Jones.
I was convinced for a year it was fake. I'm like, there's so many books that all say the same shit. This probably happened. I gave up about a year later. But I still, to this day, am like so interested in just the mystery surrounding the Titanic that if I have like a boring day, I'll just like reread the timeline of the sinking. Like, I don't know why I'm fascinated by it.
I actually have a similar boat story. When we were in middle school, I was into the Bismarck. That was the shit.
Wait, which one was that?
That was the unsinkable battleship from Germany in World War II.
Okay, I think I know the one you're talking about.
I was super into reading books about the Bismarck. But anyway, we're here to talk about good movies, including Silence of the Lambs, which we barely talked
about it. But, no, we kind of did. It was good. We liked it. Anthony Hopkins delivered a stellar performance. Jodie Foster was That's all I'll say.
I don't want to say it's carried on Hopkins, but I mean, it's not as good without Hopkins being so on point and so memorable. Like, everyone remembers Anthony Hopkins' performance.
Yeah, man. It was a good story, even though Jodie Foster was the main character. Really, Anthony Hopkins fucking knocked it out of the park.
So I have not seen the next movie, 24 Chinatown.
Me either.
Nope. Jack Nicholson.
I know I've heard about Big Trouble in Little China, but I've never seen
Chinatown. I don't know. It doesn't sound. I don't know why. For some reason, this doesn't sound like my kind of movie.
It sounds neat. It's a movie about a private detective getting caught up in bigger shit. But I've never. Jack Nicholson, star.
Oh.
I just don't know. I've never.
Oh, and Faye Dunaway. I don't know. Fuck it. I've seen the next movie. I just haven't
seen it. Oh yeah, dude. So I saw this such a long time ago. I always want to rewatch this, but I always forget. This movie is great.
It's also the only movie, for the people who watch Parks and Rec, the only movie that Ron Swanson will ever watch. In case you haven't guessed it, it's the Bridge on the River Kwai.
Dude, I want his birthday from that episode just because he watches this movie with a steak.
Right?
That sounds like the greatest. I would happily take that birthday.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Also,
Raymond, do you know what we're talking about?
No, this is going to be a rehash of the last time we talked about this in the podcast.
You're right. Didn't we even talk about the episode from Parks and Rec?
That's why this came up.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's how this came up?
Look, Bridge on the River Kwai is about a POW camp with British guys captured by the Japanese, and the commanding officer starts to actually get into the project they make him do, which is building a bridge over the River Kwai, even while the rest of them try to plan about blowing it up. It's fucking great. It's super good.
I think the best thing about this movie, in my opinion, all right, well, I would end up kind of spoiling. I don't think Freeman, you're not going to watch this movie.
Go ahead, spoil away.
Fuck.
Even if he doesn't, even if he does, it's again. All of these movies could be watched when they're spoiled.
True. Main character dies. That fucked me up. And so casually, too.
Was it
certainly it's not the first movie on this list.
Right, but like
the end or like middle of the movie?
Towards the end. Like,
yeah, so it's normal.
No, but like the way they did it threw me off because the whole It changes perspective between Obi-Wan Kenobi and this American officer that was trying to make his way back home, and it
is actually Alec Guinness.
Yeah, the commander that Tim was talking about was Sir Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the guy who convinces himself and the rest of his his units you know what, we should build this bridge with British pride You know, like we're gonna make this, and what's it called? The American officers trying to get back home, and they're like, and he lied about his credentials. I forget what he was. I think it was like a corporal or something like that.
I don't remember.
But he said he was a captain, and so they're like, listen, you escaped from this place. You know about it. You know, we're sending you back there, and we could easily throw you in jail because we know you're not a captain. So you're gonna go back there with some of our guys, and you're gonna blow this fucking bridge up. And then the dude's just like, fuck me. All right, let's do it. And he gets there, and Sir Alec Guinness is like, no, like he sees them, and instead of like helping them blow it up, he's like, no, I don't want you to blow it up. And so he sabotages the. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking crazy. Yeah,
it's pretty. Yep.
It's nuts. And then he just dies. He just gets fucking shot. I think Alec Guinness shoots him, doesn't he? Or some shit like that.
Dude, I want to see it again, but I don't remember that well.
It's good, man. It's good.
It's really good. Speaking of good, we're still in good. My favorite musical, the one I actually sometimes rewatch songs from this movie, and really the only movie that ever made me want to learn how to tap dance, Singing in the Rain. This movie is quintessential musical, and unlike Singing in the Rain, these do not get old. These I could watch these like 50 times in a row and have fun. Yeah, these are just such fun songs and sequences.
This movie, even though it's very old, it doesn't feel like it's aged quite as hard as the others. Maybe just because it's very meta about movies at the time that made it feel more timeless.
Moses supposes his toes are roses.
Oh god!
I know that whole song. It's so fucking God. I just fucking love this movie. It's so much fun, and now there's like the story is a little dated, but you're there for the songs, and they're all like all the actors are putting so much into it. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Nah.
Don't you know everyone wants to laugh?
Yeah, the fact that what's-her-face busted her ribs in the middle of that sequence and continued to do it anyway is insane.
It's crazy. Anyway, moving on. Still, number 27, It's a Wonderful Life. Another Jimmy Stewart one.
I've only seen like half of this one.
I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that is more polarizing, partially because it's a Christmas movie.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
You think being a Christmas movie makes it polarizing?
Only because I think there's a lot of stigma attached to a lot of Christmas movies because they tend to get overplayed a lot around Christmas.
Okay.
Outside of like this is either a Christmas movie that you're fine watching almost every single year, or you're like, ugh, it's one of those Christmas movies. I don't want to watch this shit.
So it's funny. I have a different perspective because my family doesn't celebrate Christmas. So for me, Christmas is this weird time of year where all media has the same theming to it, and I enjoy everything about that. So like when I hear something's a Christmas movie, like deep down inside, I'm like, oh, I think I'll like this, even though I don't.
Oh wait, Christmas. I did see this movie. I stared at it, and you guys are talking about it. And now I remember it.
Yeah, because every show and movie in the world is like spoofed this.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Everything references this. It's the original. Hell, it's practically the original. Fucking. It's another take on the what's it called?
Wish I Was Never Born concept.
Yeah, but not the Grinch. The fucking
Scrooge.
Yeah,
Scrooge.
Carol.
Thank you.
Christmas Carol.
It's another take. It's a better take on Christmas Carol. That's just instead of look at your past, present, and future, stop being so shitty. It's, okay, you want to pretend you don't exist? Well, here's what it would have fucking looked like, asshole. Well, learn how, and it's one of those pure wholesome things that really hits you hard every time you watch it, I think.
Apparently,
I should
Toy Story and The Lion King and Spirited Away are like this movie, according to IMDb.
I believe. I haven't seen Spirited Away, but I believe those other two.
Away, yeah, but I don't think Toy Story.
Toy Story is about finding meaning. I mean, it's not as much as the later ones, but still.
I think the comparison's a little heavy-handed. I don't know if it's as obvious.
Look, of course it is. Okay. It's fucking IMDb. Yeah. It's probably a computer-generated comparison. The reason we have to take this list to at least 30 before we stop for the day, though, is because the next movie is number 28, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I swear to God, I didn't know this was on this list when we started this. This is, I mean, perfect. It's 28, like more recommendation for it.
Yeah, if this means anything.
We already talked about this movie a ton. See it. It's super fun. It's listed as just comedy. It should be comedy written in big bold goth letters.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dank.
Still with comedies though, Some Like It Hot, number 29. I have seen this a few times and it is very funny.
Yeah.
Worth the watch.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
It's basically I mean, you can read the description. When two male musicians witness a mob hit, they flee the state in an all-female band disguised as women, but further complications set in. Spoiler: they both fall in love with Marilyn Monroe. It's hilarious. They're like, oh shit, we have to go on the run, and like the train only has, it's like a band of women, and they throw on wigs and are like, hi, we're here to be like in the band. And then, of course, the mobsters follow them down to Florida, and at the meantime, they're falling in love with Marilyn Monroe. There's a very, very funny scene at the end of this movie where one of them is attracting the eye of a rich businessman. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very funny. It's a really funny movie. Like, if you just want a good, funny movie, this is real funny. It's real good. And then we were already talking about Lawrence of Arabia and Ten Commandments and big epic movies like that. Number 30, Ben-Hur. Oh my God!
All right, this is another long ass one.
What is
this? Is one I did want to see though.
You did?
I do want to see it. I do want to check it out.
Have you seen Ten Commandments, Tyler?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, you saw Lawrence at least.
Yeah.
This is in the same vein of, look at this.
This fucking big ass epic movie.
Don't get made like this anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
If I remember correctly, it's either Ben-Hur or some other some other Roman movie. I mean, also, fucking Charlton Heston. Fucking
this nigga.
So killing it as Ben-Hur, but it's one of those movies where before green screens and everything really took off, like there was some rear projection and shit, but when you see crowds of fucking people, it's like, look at those thousands of extras they brought in to cheer and gave costumes to.
Geez.
And it's like,
it adds the scale to the scene.
It's insane how much in these days, like CGI crowds and everything can look completely real in high-end productions, but then you see something like this that's super old. Well, yeah, but then you see movies like this where it's like every single one of those is an actual person, except for like extreme cases. But it just, you feel the weight of it. This is one of those bit, like you see the words Ben-Hur in the fucking poster. That's what it is. It's just a big rock solid fucking movie. Ben-Hur is fantastic. And again, just like I don't know if 10 Commandments is anywhere on this list, but just like that, Charlton Heston doing a big, heavy,
epic,
like that, epic role. It's, man, he killed it. Do we want to kind of stop or just scroll through the list and kind of what?
We can stop, but man, I really love this next movie.
All right, we're doing 31 then.
I was gonna say, we could just flicker through the list because I haven't seen either of these, so we'll just call out numbers and be
you
like, hey,
haven't seen Apocalypse Now, Tim.
If I have, it's been a long time and I don't.
I was gonna say this has to be actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
I hear the name so much. I promise. Oh my God, it's everywhere.
I love Apocalypse Now, and I watched Apocalypse Now because of Spec Ops: The Line.
For real?
Actually,
yeah.
So I watched. So I was getting into the whole. When Spec Ops: The Line came out and I played that it was actually like, even though it's not like my favorite game of all time, I would say that game is probably one of the most influential games that has ever come out that has drastically changed the way I consume media.
That's so funny. I got so little from that game. I know I've seen articles and heard videos, and I just never mind.
No, that's fine.
Keep
Like
going.
everybody's got their own take on it, and like honestly,
Well, I think we talked about it before too. So
yeah, it's when you really look at it, it's not that strong of a piece, right? Like in terms of delivering the message. Okay, now Apocalypse Now, like those kind like that, and like Stanley Kubrick's like Full Metal Jacket. I know I'm like putting out like some war films, right? But I think they make a really good case and point where like you see all these movies that are very like these war movies that are very like glorified action violence, like Saving Private Ryan we brought up earlier, right? Like it like yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. But at the end of the day, like the violence and everything is all very romanticized. They don't touch on like how fucking
Like the
real it
gruesomeness of it.
gets, how fucked up it really gets, and they touch on that in Apocalypse Now. And it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola,
hell yeah.
same person who did Godfather, and it's got Martin Sheen and Marlon Brando. It also has what's his face in it? Han Solo for like 5 minutes. He's like one of the colonels. But anyway, it's about this guy, and he is instructed to go find basically this commander deep in the Vietnam jungles. And he's, they order him to like, kill this guy because he's gone off the reservation. And the deeper he goes into the jungles of Vietnam, like the less like civilized and how crazy things are.
Oh man.
And like it's like to the point where it's barbaric, and he finally finds Marlon Brando, who he was sent to kill, and he ended up basically taking over this entire village. Like this whole village just bows to him, and the rest of his unit is still with him, and they're following him until his death. And I just thought it was just fucking, it's like, it's crazy because that's what the whole thing was like. Oh yeah, it's like that's what Spec Ops did. It's like, oh, it's a hoo-ah, get some, and it's like, no, this is fucking real. Like people come here to die. Like people come here, and it's like, and if you don't submit to the rules, like you will die too. And I was like, gee, like the idea of that, like the visceral, like real life that is so jarring. And it's wild. Like it's a concept that people can't, at least I feel like most people can't, like they can't process a thing like that in real life, like saying like, oh, this would never happen, but it actually would. And that's why I like going, and then like just trying to tie it back to like recent things I like Goblin Slayer. It's stuff like Apocalypse Now that made me truly appreciate the kind of pseudo realism that, or like, real topics that like stuff like Goblin Slayer comes with.
Right.
Like the gritty side that we don't always see.
The gritty side, the non-romantic side that like, it's very gritty, it's blunt. There are no laughs, there are no cheers. Like it is this.
Now, I know we said we were going to stop at 31, but I had an idea. Why don't we hit 33? So if we wanted to, and if people are interested, we could make 2 more topic weeks out of this, where we go through 34 to 67 and then finish off the list if people want us to. But either way, we could hit the 3rd. It's only 2 more movies.
Look, now there are a lot of bangers, but yeah, we can. Yeah,
I know, that's because I was like, oh, what if we just fly through the list and pick 1 or 2 more out that we all want to talk about? And it's like, no, we can't, because I scrolled 3 down and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it goes.
Freeman, does that work for you, Freeman?
Sure.
Okay. So this is quick because Tyler, have you seen Amadeus?
No, I have not.
I've definitely seen this movie. I don't know why I saw this movie.
I feel like we might have seen it for school.
We definitely saw it in school.
Because I feel like I saw this originally in school and then saw it again later.
I remember enjoying it in school.
Yeah, Amadeus is pretty cool. It's about Mozart's life as told by his opponent, basically his worst enemy, and it's just the life, rise, and fall of Mozart, and it's just super well done. The acting's great. The music's obviously very incredible, and it's this really interesting take. I can't speak to much more than that because I don't remember it that well, and I also, while I don't mind musicals so much, a movie about musicians is not my cup of tea as much. I don't know. I've never been a huge classical music, like crazy classical music person, so it's never interested me as much. But then we'll end on one we can all talk about, because even Freeman has seen Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
So that's where you're wrong. I've only seen the first Lord of the Rings movie.
What the fuck?
Get out.
Whoa, podcast canceled. Actually.
Because I watched it way after the fact. Like, I didn't watch this until
my
2011.
God.
You saw Tyler.
What? I'm sorry.
Did you see all? No, Tyler. Did you see all these in theaters?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I did.
Podcast saved,
so
sort of.
Podcast saved,
sort of. The only way to watch Lord of the Rings in the modern era is to watch the extended versions. So in 2011, I sat down and watched the first Lord of the Rings movie extended, and I wasn't feeling it because the movie was like 3.5 hours.
Good.
So as a result, because the first one didn't provide me with a compelling experience, I opted not to watch the sequel, nor is a third one.
Let me put it this way. Let me say this. I feel like you could easily watch the non-extended first movie, then watch the extended second and extended third, and go back and watch the extended first.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it would be great to, but for some reason in 2012, there were no copies of the original version for sale, and if you looked online, there were no versions of the original copy available for legal streaming, and the illegal site that I ended up having to use to watch it also had nothing but the extended version. So I had no choice but to experience it in that way.
Look,
and it was not a good first experience.
Don't get me wrong, the extended first cut isn't bad, but they legitimately didn't need a lot of the stuff that's in the extended first cut of the first movie. The second and third movie, the more the better, because those movies, especially Return of the King, which is what we're actually talking about because it's number 33. Return of the King is one of the, like Star Wars, I mean, it's the culmination of the whole Lord of the Rings series, but it's one of those movies that, I know, Freeman, you are the rare exception. I'm pretty sure 95 to 90% of our generation has seen all of these movies.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I hate myself for having not liked the first movie, and I feel like there's something wrong with me because of it. So I need to go back and rewatch it and just be like, okay, I need to appreciate this, otherwise there's something wrong with me.
Like, Tyler, Return of the King, going into the mountain, Gandalf talking about afterlife, Rohan's charge, Morwyn on the field, the actual everything happening in Mordor at the end, the spider.
It's epic.
There's
really
so much.
There's so many things from beginning to end that really make it like just one of those fucking movies.
It's so unfortunate because the first one is slow and the first one is world building. That's why I said you don't need to actually have seen the full extended one, but then you want to go back and see more. Like I probably don't need to ever rewatch Fellowship. I don't. But I would happily rewatch. I would spend 24 hours straight watching the extended cut of Return of the King. It's
also solidifies that Aragorn is the main character of the trilogy. The real main character.
Also, it's honestly sad that Viggo Mortensen doesn't seem to have really gotten as much of a career out of it because he fucking kills it through the whole series.
Does.
Like, they're all so good.
How the fuck? All right, listen. I think Viggo Mortensen deserved more of a career.
He got Hidalgo, and then he was in that other movie recently with
oh, right.
Not Jamie Foxx, but it was another. He's like a white Southern guy escorting a black musician around the South.
Yeah, I feel like I should just rewatch it in the original cut. Because for the record, The original one is a little over 2 hours. The extended cut is 3 hours and 40 minutes.
God,
Damn.
yeah, you don't.
That
need,
was why I didn't enjoy it.
Legitimately, I don't think you need most of that. Like it. Don't get me wrong. It's great stuff, but you appreciate it a lot more when you've seen the whole series.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I
then
was
it's more
digging the
fun
first
to go
hour,
back.
but like then it started to drag on. I was losing focus, and that's like the nail in the coffin.
That's why I was saying if you get through the original cut, then just go straight to extended of Two Towers, because there's nothing bad in those two.
I still don't think you can stream this anywhere. I might just have to buy the digital copy from Amazon. Like, this is a problem. You can't watch this shit anywhere.
Yeah. Without the Blu-rays. Well, hey, maybe you could run over to my house. My dad has the Blu-ray box sets. Actually, hell, me and Val both have a Blu-ray box set of the Lord of the Rings, because Amazon loves to put those on sale for their Christmas sale.
Yeah, I sailed the seven seas.
Oh wait, hold on. I stand corrected. Netflix has what I think is the original cut. 2 hours 58 minutes. No, it's not.
For one?
Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I can watch on Netflix.
Oh. Okay, there you go.
Just gotta find 3 hours.
I can't even front Freeman for saying this, because I was just complaining about how I don't want to fucking sit through. I think about it now and how ridiculous.
These are all long movies.
Long ass movies.
And they're all good.
The problem is I need to watch it in like the middle of the day. I keep doing this thing where I sit down at like 8 o'clock to watch a movie, and it's like if I'm gonna watch a 3-hour movie, chances are I'm gonna be like falling asleep by the end. Like I have to find like a weekend where it's like, okay, 3 o'clock, I'm gonna sit down, watch this, and when it's done, I'm gonna make dinner.
Or you do the weekend, wake up, watch all 3 in a row.
I'm not trying to die, Tim.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're going to force ourselves to end it there. 33, let us know if you like this topic. I think this is a ton of fun talking about movies that are classics.
No one's as much of movie nerds as we are, though.
What?
So far, there's only one other person that I know that is much of like a movie nerd as we are, and that's my old roommate.
Yeah, but who cares?
Yeah, it's our podcast.
It's our podcast.
I'm scrolling through. There are so...
It's my world. I make the rules.
Like, I'm slowly starting to not recognize as many movies as I'm going through, but I also
I'm actually starting to know...
I've seen tons of
I'm
these.
starting to recognize a lot more as I'm going down, actually.
Oh my
like,
God.
the good, the bad, and the ugly is on this list.
Oh, yep, I saw it already.
Patton's on this list.
Fucking watch Patton every day if I could.
Patton's so fucking great.
All right, we're gonna call it the topic there. Let's go to our weeks. Freeman, last week, this coming week.
The fuck did I do all of last week? I honestly don't remember. Once I came to my revelation about Pokemon, I started playing Pokemon Alpha Sapphire again. So I've been doing that in the background while watching shows and stuff. Yeah, this week was super boring. I have like nothing to talk about. Friday, I find out if I get to be the CTO of my own company, so that's exciting for this week.
Yeah.
But the build up to it is killing me with boredom. Oh, fun fact that I got to discover over the weekend. For anyone who doesn't know, and most people won't know because Facebook's a piece of shit. So they recently changed tracking laws regarding how websites can track your cookies. They made it so that way they can't. So Facebook's just shit out of luck. They can't track your the way you move around the internet from Facebook. So what they did is they took one out of Google's playbook and they started adding a field onto URLs. Google called it the Google Click ID, and Facebook they added on a field called it's like FBCLID. So they append this onto every single URL outgoing from Facebook. But because this is 100% about them spying on users, they have made no public statement about this. The real problem with this implementation is they broke half the internet. So websites that are very sensitive to what fields are in the URL are breaking because any smart website designer does not accept foreign fields. Now, if you're lazy, like a certain company I work for, your website breaks when a foreign field is present. And this is happening to a lot of websites. On top of this, you have like known statistics like if a website takes more than 3 seconds to load, 50% of the people who would have stuck around for less than 3 seconds will just not load your page. So this matters a lot for the whole clickbait atmosphere surrounding Facebook. So they've fucked over a lot of like sites that, you know, rely on that statistic. So Facebook made this heavy-handed spying decision, told literally no one about it, and broke a ton of websites, including the login page for the application that I wrote. not the login page, the application.
Oh no.
So we had to get in touch with the guy who wrote the login page. He's like, well, this isn't my problem. We're like, well, yeah, it fucking is. And we understand that neither you nor I changed anything, but Facebook totally did, and now we have to fix this. So that was what I spent a good chunk of my weekend into Monday dealing with.
Can I just say, as a side note, our IT guy actually walked in at the end of today and said, hey, 2 things. 1, we're finally reinstating our guest network for you guys to have your personal devices on. 2, we're blocking Facebook on all of our networks because there's all these 0-day bugs and shit that we don't want to get infecting on our computers.
Rip.
Interesting. I mean, they're forced to unban this because we quite literally run Facebook shit for our company.
No, I'm sure.
But
I just am amazed. Like, I just don't understand who the fuck logs onto Facebook on a work computer. Like, I don't log into a single personal account outside of, like, Amazon on my work computer.
It's shitty.
Oh, I do. I'm reckless. I don't give a fuck.
Because our website has, like, we call it social media login. Instead of using your real username and password, you can use, like, sign in with Amazon, sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, sign in with fucking Twitter. And every time anything changes, I have to test every single one. So I'm just perma logged in into all my social media on my work computer because there's. Why am I revealing this to the general public? Whatever.
Because who the fuck's
because who gives a shit? This is our podcast.
Now all they know is they have to steal my work laptop and they have access to all these accounts.
We do what we want. Anything else?
But yeah, it's pretty much it.
Work.
Again, wrapping up some of the random shows from last season, holding off on. Tonight I'm watching the last episode of Fooly Cooly Alternative so I can finally understand all the salt and make my final judgment that Fooly Cooly was never good in the first place. Because it's not. There, I said it. I don't even need to see the last episode to know this. But that's what I'm doing this week.
Okay, Tyler?
There's a snake in my boot.
Oh my god, wait, you just reminded me. Hold on. I gotta find this.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
No, Tyler, you don't understand how on point you are. Hold
God
on.
damn it.
He's fishing for me.
Okay, so remember that story? No. So, where is it? Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Remember that story about Pornhub that I said earlier?
Yes.
So while we were on break, I wanted to see the comments, and right near the top, there's a snake in my pants. Porn star Woody.
Fucking god damn it!
I just thought that was way too good.
Fuck.
But actually, Tyler, what are you doing besides playing Red Dead?
I don't know.
Watching Spoops.
Yeah, Leslie and I are doing Halloween stuff tomorrow, which really.
Are we talking like cool Halloween stuff, like
no? It really
like
just
Halloween
comes down to
stuff,
we're
like
watching
going pumpkin picking.
We're watching scary movies
put
and shit, and passing out candy.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna just do it like, yeah, we're doing real exciting. We're putting a bowl out.
No, we're just watching stuff.
The lazy mode where you just put a bowl of candy out.
No, absolutely not.
Oh man, that reminds me of a meme I gotta post to you guys later about taking the fucking bowl.
Oh,
no, I don't trust people. People have no honor. There is no honor among thieves.
If it weren't for the laws of this land, I would steal everyone's candy.
Exactly. Because I'd be a rat and I would be like, nigga, I'm taking three pieces of candy. So yeah, honestly that's what I'm doing. I'm not really doing anything.
Working
else.
spooks in Red Dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Excuse me.
What are you doing?
So I didn't get to start Deus Ex this week. I know I said I was going to start playing Deus Ex this past weekend, but I realized I'm behind on recording Yakuza. And even though I haven't been grinding, I started playing Yakuza. Man, I tweeted about this yesterday when I was grinding, but so in Yakuza 0, there's 2 characters you play as, Majima and Kiryu. And they both have they basically both have a sub game where you grind out for money, and you unlock the basically upper tiers of all of your styles, and then the final unlock is your 4th style of fighting for both characters. And for Kiryu, it's literally just this thing where you walk into an office, dump some money on buildings, and buy some buildings, and it's a real estate game. For fucking Majima, you have to run a hostess club,
Oh man.
And it is the most nightmarish, fucking terrible thing ever.
Jesus.
You have to react so fast, and you have such little information. I'm sure I'm fucking it up really hard, but man, do I hate it. Like, with Kiryu, it's just dump some money, walk away, dump some money, walk away. Oh, go deal with the opponent, because there's like each of them has 5 zones where these antagonistic dicks are like, oh, you'll never succeed and we're gonna fight you one at a time. And then fucking with Majima, like I tried to with Majima's thing, it's like you grind up fans for your club in each territory, and then you have to do a rival battle where you each try to earn the most money in the club at the same time. I tried it twice. I can't fucking beat it. The AI just cheats.
Damn.
And I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to do this shit anymore.
God
Sounds
damn.
like the game for me.
No, look, Yakuza 0 is still fantastic. I recorded that all weekend. I don't have overtime this week, so I'll get at least one more recording session on Friday before my girlfriend gets home from work, which is great. I'm going to start Mankind Divided because I have some Yakuza, and honestly, there's not a lot of Darksiders left. Other than that, we're still watching Tutors. Watched Castlevania, like I said. But we're just chugging through Tutors. We're like in the middle of season 3, so maybe we'll switch back to anime after that or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh my god. Watch the League of Legends semifinals rerun, which was pretty intense. And by intense, I mean they were both 3-0s, which is kind of disappointing because Worlds this year has been actually really back and forth and lots of upsets. And then both semifinals were 3-0s in like record time. So hopefully the finals is good this weekend. I'm not going to watch it live because it's at 3 a.m. fucking here when it starts. So I'll watch it on Monday at work.
Probably have it on in the background over the weekend.
How? It's going to be starting at 3 a.m.
You said 3 a.m. on Saturday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'll just watch the rerun at some point during the weekend. But there's going to be VODs out.
I guess. Oh, no, I absolutely. That's what I'm going to do on Monday. But I'm just surprised. I didn't know you would care enough to do that.
Like I said, in the background. I'm not going to like intently watch it.
Oh my god! Fuck you, Freeman. I saw your thing.
Holy hell!
That was Leslie, wasn't it?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Wow. Is she okay?
Whoa! No,
No,
she's
that's not like
watching
laughter.
Impractical Jokers right now.
Oh my god.
Yikes. But yeah, probably not gonna have time for much else. I'm just not gonna grind it. The funny thing in Yakuza is I don't need to grind with Majima because he uses a lot less money than Kiryu. So the fact that I've beaten up Mr. Shakedown for billions of yen
Mr.
multiple times
Shakedown.
already. Freeman, if you play the game, you'll know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. I've beaten him up enough times that I can't spend all the money I have because Kiryu's thing is you earn a shit ton of money and then you dump it into these real estate properties. With Majima, it's just you have hostesses, you pay them like $5 a night and they work for you. So what the fuck do you need all this money for? Anyway, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I think we're done. So let us know if you want us to come back with the topic again. Spoiler, we probably will anyway, but still, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We did 2 in a row. Let's shoot for 3 in a row with next week. We'll see what we can do.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But until next time, my name's Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
And I'm the rootinest, tootinest gun in the East. Just Tyler.
And we will catch you guys maybe next week. See you then.